Well, hello. I'm all fully sweated up, so why don't you slide on in and we'll look at the next project. This is same day as doing the potted plants and the urn, so come on in, let's check this out.
I think you're really cool. I like you a lot. Maybe we can hang out or something. Hey, I think you're really cool. I like you a lot. Maybe we can hang out or something.
Okay. How many people have got a expensive, I don't know if that's an oil painting or someone went over a lithograph and painted it. I don't know. Anyways, it's an expensive painting. The frame itself was a fortune. So anyways, how many are sitting out in the garage? I was actually cleaning looked like mud dauber nests off the side of the frame there. So, what does that stool, the bike rack, the stands, the antenna thing from the dish, 2 tables, a folding aluminum table, and a couple boxes from Amazon. What do those have in common? Well, I'm glad you asked. This stool, while very helpful, very handy, raise it up, raise it down, is dangerous as all hell. It does not have brakes on the castors. So when you go to set on it, if you're not careful, it will scoot out from under you when you're trying to set on it. So, what we have here is a complete set of the rollerblade castors. I think that'd be a nice addition to that. And several of them have brakes on them. So I don't know if I'm going to set it on here. Let me see how I'm going to set this thing up and I'll bring you back in. See if I can frame that and me doing that. At least a couple of them. So, you have to forgive me, I'm like completely soaked from being out there in the heat with the root bound plant and dealing with that out there. So, it is what it is. You know, sweating. So, I suppose you could be kind of a wuss and say, I don't know how to get these things off. Or you can just snatch them off of there. Now, I don't pretend that everybody can just reach over and snatch a castor off, maybe as easy as that looks. It does take some brute, it's kind of a brute force way of doing it, but hey, it is what it is. So, those are off. I don't know how many of them have. They might have all had brakes. Yeah, they all do. So, normally when I watch people do videos and I see them toss stuff on the ground, like the wrappers and stuff like that, it's like, why do you do that? You're just going to have to pick them up later. Why don't pick them up and be neat in the process? I get it. I totally get it. So, you just kind of persuaded to go on. I had a conversation with these before I started. Just make sure this over here. And confirmed with them that they were going to go on, whether they liked it or not. And I think they're being the or not. So I'm just putting them on regardless. Now these things, when you order the castors, okay, these have got different types of stems, different sizes, and different diameters. Some of them are threaded, some are just a smooth snap-in like this. And what I'm doing, let me see if I can go behind the camera here. If you can see that right there, you can see that there's a collar, and like it looks like almost a snap ring. Okay, so what you're trying to do, if you look at it from here, you're trying to get this snap ring to go in and seat itself, so it doesn't come off every time you lift up the stool if you ever choose to do that. So that's the magic behind retaining them in there. I'm probably going to feel that tomorrow when my palm goes. Why did my palm hurt a little bit? So, five old ones off. Five new ones on. Simple as that. Okay? Now, one of the things, if you choose to do that with a, like your office chair, that's where these kind of took off and became famous, as people were doing that modification to their office chairs. One thing I would caution is sometimes those wheels will have to, if you don't get good ones, if you get cheap ones, when they turn directions, it'll almost feel like the whole chair is feeling, it's like it gets off center. And it'll feel like the chair is flipping over. So I caution you to buy the better, get the originals. I don't have any link to that company. I just know that if you're gonna buy something, buy the original. Don't buy the knockoffs, and they're on Amazon. I think I paid, and this you can. The other thing is when you order, make sure how many feet are on your chair. Some chairs have 4, some have 5. This one had 5, and they come in sets of 4 and 5. So, and now I can actually push down on that tab, and now that's locked, and if I go to set on it, it's not going to slide out from under me when I try to get to a project or whatever. That was especially concerning to me if Tony used it, so that it didn't slide out from under and her bust her ass on the concrete. So in any case, and then it's just a simple case of just tapping the top of it and it's released, and it's smooth like butter. It doesn't, when you change directions, it does not feel like the stool is trying to tip over on you, because the castors had to change directions and they actually lean when they change. Trust me, get the wrong ones, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about immediately. So, that is one off the list. Now, why would I have all this other stuff in there? Now, right there, I have an Chinese knockoff of, I think the Circo, I forget how it's pronounced, the all aluminum round plane CB antenna. It's like 20 feet aluminum. Or later today, I should have the Tram 1498 black fiberglass version. And I also bought this little piece of stainless steel. That thing is expensive as hell, and it took me about a month to get it. And if you recall, I had that mount right there, that plastic mount threaded, and then you can mount it sideways, you can tilt it, you do all kinds of things with it. But what I decided is that I really wanted to get this thing into a more usable configuration. So that means extending the end of the antenna so it's longer overall. I think it's just at like 12, something like that. It needs to be 16 to 18, or 18 to 20 something feet long. And the only way to do that is with this, and then it's got set screws to tighten on whatever pipe. Okay, then you can extend it out. And I had to get a piece of 3/4 inch conduit. One of the things that I'm finding out that anything to do with Shakespeare or antennas in general, their sizing generally have almost nothing to do with normal pipe sizing. It's always just a little too big or a little too small. So that's a little small for that, but I can tighten it down. Okay? Now, why is that important to what we we're just talking about over here? Well, I've decided that this is going to be a CB antenna mast that I will put mounts here so I can put a CB antenna on here, and at my discretion when I want to use it, I just simply mount the antenna on it, clamp it down, and away we go. The other thing I was thinking is it would be kind of cool if I wanted to use this as a test mule, if I took these rails and mounted them up a little bit in conjunction with this. I could move this up, mount that tabletop on here, and then I'd have a working platform to put a CB for test mules here to attach to an antenna here, there, or the one to come, so that I can test it for its signal strength. Well, all that's well and good, but this is a pain in the ass to move around. So recycling, enter this. Now it may take some creative work to be able to achieve that. I'm beginning to doubt the items I'm about to show you here, and I'm thinking that at some point I may want to put extension poles out that you can stick out on each side to balance it sideways. But again, this is more of a test mule stand for antennas, to get them up off the ground, maybe even get them away. Now, if you were trying to get them away from this so that there's no interference from the metal, the way one would do that is by buying these standoff mounts with clamps so that you can clamp it here and have it hang out away from it, like maybe 8 inches or so away, and go up, and hopefully get rid of some of the disturbance that this might cause. The other way, I'll be using one of these. These are a set of brackets that you can use. This is the side that you would clamp the antenna on. That's the side that is going to get screwed on here, probably on this side, because as it stands right now, this is a little I'm concerned, I wanted them on this side, but I'm concerned it's going to be back heavy, and I'd just as soon have it, if I was going to have it lean and biased, it'd be biased this way because it's got this kickstand, okay? So I wanted this portable. So I bought those big mamma jammas. And God willing, I will be able to figure out a way to mount those to the bottom of that and be able to roll this around. 2 of them lock, 2 of them do not. Those are 5-inch castors. And what I may do first is I bought 2 more sets to put castors on these. Okay, so that if I do use this for my kayak, I can set the kayak on top of there, on each one, roll it up under it on the trailer, set the kayak on it, wheel it back until it comes out on that, and I can just roll the whole assembly in one big happy whatever after I get the pad on there to pad the bottom of the kayak against this. And when I've got the top on it for the tabletop configuration, I can move the entire tabletop around easier. So I think before I launch into this project, I'm going to do this one. So I'll set you down and bring you back then. Okay, one thing that I have found in my last several projects is that regardless of my intentions, there is always going to be some sort of a roadblock. And in this case, that roadblock is that these pipes are too narrow for the pads on these swivels. Now, I could have gotten smaller swivels. I could have gotten drill into here mounts. But I was afraid that the weight, if I ever put any weight on this stand, that it would bend this thin wall tubing. Okay, I didn't want to put stress on this tubing. So it's going to cost me considerably more than I had figured, probably equal to the amount of the castors themselves, because they came with nuts and bolts or screws. Okay. I believe I am going to simply go down and get U-bolts, squared off U-bolts that will fit. Let me see if I can change hands without dropping everything. That will go around the pipe and bolt like that. So on the ends they would be U-bolted down to the pipe versus this way. Now I can't think of a way to, I'm not just going to put 2 bolts in there. That's just kind of a cheese ball. And I suppose I could figure, if I had a welder, I'd just get some pipe that would, square tubing that would fit in there and make an extension that's a little bit wider and bolt it to that, and then they just slide in and slide off. But I don't have that. And I do not want to risk the integrity of these stands just, for whatever. So, since that is my option, that is what I will be doing. And if my math is correct, based on high school, public school education, see what I mean? That thing just slid right out from under me. And of course, I did not have the wheels locked, so it is what it is. Based on my public school education and high school math, I'm going to need 2 per each one. So I'm going to need 16 U-bolts. That ought to be a trick to get all those. That'll fit here and are short enough to just, you know, they're going to have to be wide, squat, and short. And bolt them here, here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2 of them, 16. Then I have the same exact size that I'll be putting on that, but those are going to need to be round. And I haven't looked at it. Hold on a second. Okay, so when I go over there, I'm going to have 16 square ones and bring this with me so that I have this one that will fit around this lengthwise and widthwise, and 8 that will fit around this We'll go this way. So, it's off to the hardware store I go. I'm thinking Home Depot, even though I cannot stand that place. But you go where you can go. So let me get this mess cleaned up, and I'll pick you up before I get, when I'm on my way over. Okay, after a brief run to Home Depot, it became apparent that they don't have the square U-joint, U-bolts that I need, so I'm gonna have to order them from eBay. But I was able to get 16 of these, 8 of those, to put those castors on here. And I'm debating on putting them over this cap or taking the cap off. I'm afraid it's just going to crack it if I keep it on there. But I want them as far out to the edges as possible. So we're about to find out. We're going to F around and find out. You know what I'm saying? Okay, this is the next step. I've got them loosely placed where I want them. Obviously, I want them out further outboard. I may leave them where they're at. But what I've done is got them on the nuts part of the U-bolt is too long. So I can't put both of them on and they'll hit, you can see. So I got the jigsaw out and got a metal bit on there. I've mounted these next to it. These will be going here. That plate will go in the stack of plates there. And I can just whack ding 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 ding. So I make mess one time, clean up my mess, take these, put them in over here, tighten them, stand it up, make sure it's right, that these are on there correctly and square. They're not twisted on the shaft. And yeah, what I'll probably do to test that is slide this over so that this plate is up against this board, and then I'll know for sure that they're all on the same plane. Then I'll flip this over and do the same thing here when I do the final tightening, so that I'm for sure that the things are, if that's not correct, then they're all going to be the same amount off instead of just being all over the place and unbalanced. I'll bring you back in here in a second. Okay, pulling back in. This is an absolute pain in the ass to do, but my portable mast is now truly portable with the 4 steerable and lockable wheels on it. Presents a challenge getting it in and out of the garage, but you know, it's not intended for inside the garage anyway, so it's not that crucial. Kind of give you a couple looks at it. That would be the top part. And wouldn't you know, just as I was putting the flip this thing around a little bit, the low battery came on, so probably heard me. It is what it is. It's tough being me. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. A couple of cool builds. The 2 stands are yet to come. I've got to order actual U-bolts instead of horseshoe bolts. Flat topped, and that'll probably be next week. I've still got that antenna, and the antenna that's to be delivered to shortly from Amazon to assemble and test. So I've got a lot of stuff coming up, and I hope you stick around. Like, share, subscribe. If you don't like anything I'm doing, not a problem. Just hit dislike twice, and I'll give you your money back. Not a problem. Be cool.